NBA Thursday, time for fast break bets presented by our friends over at DRF Sportsbook. If you're in the state of Iowa, sign up for a DRF Sportsbook account right now with our promo code FAST1000. You can get up to a $1,000 deposit match when you're in the state of Iowa. Sign up now for DRF Sportsbook. Erik from ETOF 201 Sports joins me, Gino Bucola here, and we're going to be talking about tonight's NBA game, Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals. We saw Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals open up yesterday, Erik, and in that game, everything flipped in the third quarter. As you and I sort of expected, this Boston team is still a little overrated right now. The general public still is treating this Boston team like a team that was playing last year or early this year. And for the last couple months, while they've defeated their opponents, they've beaten the teams in front of them, they have not looked good doing it. And I would honestly say that if Boston would have faced like 6 different teams in the West, they probably would have lost any series against them. I really feel like that right now. They faced Atlanta. They faced a Philly team. Well, first they played Atlanta in one of the games without DeJounte Murray. They played Philly, and they had Embiid hurt to start the series. Still couldn't seal the deal. Boston is 11-11 in their last 22 games at home. I saw a post. This year, the Nuggets are 8-0 at home in the playoffs. The Lakers are 6-0. The Heat are 6-0, and the Celtics are 4-4.
Jeez. That's insane. And I mean, I really think the one thing is I really don't like the ball movement.
No,
of the Celtics.
It's not fluid. Yeah. It's Brown and then Tatum. It's like it was a few years ago before Udoka came in and before the ball started really moving. Like, it seemed like Horford and White are guys that help the ball movement a little bit more. And right now, it's not the case. Late in that game, it was Tatum would go and then Brown would go. And that was it. And when the other guy had the ball, you knew they were going at the basket and taking the shot.
Yes. And you want to hear something crazy? Like, so this year they've played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. 13 playoff games. 10 of those 13 games, Tatum has had over 20 shots in the game. Okay. Last year, 10 for the whole total playoffs. I mean, that just kind of shows you how much the ball isn't moving, how the ball's just kind of sticking in his hands and he's forcing it up. Is Tatum good? Yes. But we've seen it before. Like, what makes these guys better is at the beginning of the games, they get like Al Horford, Robert Williams, Marcus Smart, get those fringe guys, the 3, 4, 5s, get those guys involved early. So that way they're engaged toward the end. When you have someone that is constantly jacking up as many shots, you can't get the effort level up from those other guys. The ball isn't moving at all. I was a little surprised with how much run Al Horford got. That was one thing that kind of stood out to me. Actually, he had over 20 shots, so 11 games. It's 11 out of 14 last night. That's one thing. Butler played great. I thought Bam played really good. I thought there was a stretch where Lowry came off the bench. He kept them into the game. Martin hit some big shots. Martin, I thought, played pretty good defense on Tatum. Yeah, it played out. I think this Heat team was getting a little overlooked in the market. And like you said, Celtics were getting priced off last year. Little disappointing. I feel we kind of should have swept the board. We both had the Heat plus the points, Heat money line. We missed the Tatum under by 1 point. There was a take foul with less than 20 seconds left.
And he hit the free throw.
And he hit the free throw.
And you know what? With them, that was one of those where we were right on Miami and the money line, and our handicapping angles on Tatum not dominating the game was correct, right? He just got over that total late with a late free throw that was meaningless when it was all said and done. The only thing that it mattered for were guys like us who played his prop. But we'll take that 9 times out of 10 and know that we would hit that bet.
Oh, yeah, 9 times out of 10, you got to take that. I also played the Al Horford over rebound prop. I mean, geez, dude, he finished with 6. He had 10 rebound chances in that game, finished with 6. Didn't have, like, he had 1 rebound going into the fourth quarter. And, he got 5, had a couple chances, but couldn't get over that 6.5 number. So ended up making money on the day. Can't complain. Should have hit those 2 player props, which are a little upsetting, but in the green, that's all that matters. So on to today, and hopefully you can continue the hot streak.
Okay, Erik, let's talk about today's game. Lakers versus the Nuggets. What's funny, you and I both played opposite sides of the spread in game 1. Neither of us play the spread in game 2. We're just taking a shot at different props and different things because I thought it was a fascinating end to the game, and everybody's kind of expecting that the Lakers adjustment, like made adjustments that will work. The Nuggets will be able to make some adjustments too, and mainly Jokic is such a smart player. Anyone that's Jokic, like, that's Luka Doncic, that's LeBron, that's Damian Lillard. And I mean, a great, great offensive player. If you try to defend them the same way over and over, they're going to adjust to you. So they're going to find a way to beat you. And so the Lakers can't just expect that they're going to throw Rui out there on him, and that's just going to be the magic, right? That may help. That may be better, and that may be what ends up being the best approach for the Lakers, but that's not going to shut Jokic down. It's not going to stop him. It's not going to make him a different player than he's been all year. The real key is, what are they going to do early? Because there have been rumors out there about D'Angelo Russell, and if they don't want him to start, if they're kind of scared that if he doesn't start, they may lose him. And I actually agree with that. I think it's too early in the series to automatically say D'Angelo can't play here. I think D'Angelo and Schroeder and Austin Reeves all together against this team is not the same fit that it was against Golden State. That's the big difference for me. I'm hoping, Erik, and this is one that I see where we're kind of against each other. We don't have the same exact plays, but I think our thought process is against each other. After the game the other night, D'Angelo Russell stayed on the court to shoot threes. It was funny. The Denver like staff was taking down the net and the rim, and are they like adjusting the backboard, and D'Angelo was shooting the threes while the guy's on the ladder, and he's like just draining them. He had a good game 6 against Golden State, and if you really look through, he's just this type of player where he will have good and bad. I don't think he's going to be so poor on the defensive side if it's just him and Reeves out there and they go bigger with Rui instead of Schroeder. That's the key. And I'm worried, Erik, because D'Angelo is one of those guys who, if he comes off the bench, I think it will impact him. I don't think you're going to get the same out of him. And I know I'm not supposed to care about this because I'm a Laker fan and I'm just supposed to want them to win. But D'Angelo Russell's had some good moments in the playoffs. I would actually feel bad. This could be something that could really screw with his next contract. Like, if he gets benched in the playoffs moving forward, like what he gets paid next year, whether it is with the Lakers or not, right? If he gets somewhere else, if you're getting benched in the playoffs like this. So I think I have a few reasons why. My final one is the gravity of his shooting versus Schroeder. If it's going to be one of them, D'Angelo is a much better shooter. So then all of a sudden, if you've got LeBron and AD on the court, you really need someone like D'Angelo to stretch the court. So, Erik, I went to 2 D'Angelo plays today. His point total is all the way down to 13.5, which I think is pretty low for him. It's usually in that 15 range. And I took a swing on this one, 3 threes at plus 210, because he's the type of guy is if he's on, you sort of know early, right? Like, he makes 1 or 2 of those first shots and then he's cooking. If he misses a couple of those early shots, then I don't mind taking him out, right? It sounds weird. I don't mind playing him for the first 5 minutes. And if he's 0 for 3, then maybe his next run or he doesn't get as much. And then you're going to hit your props, not me. I just don't want to bench him right away. I don't know if that's going to be great for his confidence, because if you're the Lakers, you can't afford to lose D'Angelo Russell right now with 2 series left. Like, you're going to need this guy. And I don't know if this is the moment yet. What would you do, Erik? Because I know you're playing under. How would you start if you're the Lakers? You're the coach. You coach basketball. You're Darvin Ham. How do you start this game? What starting five?
I really feel that you need to start Rui, because if you don't, you run the risk of letting Joker just go crazy for that first 5-minute thing. I'm looking at NBA popcorn machine right now, and Schroeder was subbed out Schroeder and LeBron were both subbed out at the 5:04 mark.
So you are, would you be fine with D'Angelo in there instead of Schroeder? You start Schroeder instead of D'Angelo.
I feel either you have to have Reeves or D'Angelo come off the bench. I feel that Schroeder athletically on the defensive side of the ball gives you a little bit more than those two guys. So
I completely agree with that. My only concern is the shoot defensively when you have Schroeder, LeBron, AD. Rui's been better as a three-point shooter, but he doesn't really have the gravity there. That would be my only concern. I don't disagree with you from the defense standpoint, and even if you end up maybe closing the game with them, I'm a little bit worried about the spacing on the floor. That would be my only worry because Schroeder and D'Angelo are just totally different style of players, and Schroeder, like we've seen, there are games and series that are more Schroeder than D'Angelo. I'm just sort of personally worried about if you've got to try to score with them and you don't have enough of the three-point shooting, can you keep up with them? Kind of like what happened with the Suns, right? Yeah, like if they're shooting threes and the Lakers are shooting twos all the time,
it's just math. It's
right? Just we're going to be behind a lot. So,
I mean, I'm looking at it like this. Like, that's what I would do. I don't think he's going to do it. I will say this, though, that Schroeder and LeBron came out at the 5:04 mark. I think Russell, when he does start tonight, is going to be the first one that exits the game.
I agree. And that's fine, especially if he doesn't hit a shot or two, right? Because he's in there to hit shots. If he's not hitting them early and he's not able to create his own shots, like those, get that mid-range, then his value isn't as useful here. So I think it'll be one of those things early. If I were making let's say this, because we are recording this a little bit earlier than most people will see it. So by the time everybody sees this, you may know if they've made a change to the starting lineup. If they haven't, if D'Angelo's starting tonight, bet him first bucket. That would be a play I would make, because I bet you the first 2 times down the court, they're going to try to get him the ball right away. Like they do that with Anthony Davis a lot. If he's on the court, I think they're going to try to get D'Angelo the ball and try to get him comfortable. So if he's starting, throw a little sprinkle on a D'Angelo first bucket, because I could see them having a play or two scripted right away for him. It's like what they do with the wide receiver, right? In the or the running backs in football, someone who's had a bad game, or you've got 3 plays scripted for them right away. Again, if he's not starting, don't play that. But
and I'm looking at it like he played 26 minutes. He was minus 25 when he was on the court. He exited the game at the per NBA popcorn machine at the 3:13 mark of the third and didn't come back. And that's, the fourth quarter is when the Lakers made a game out of it with their run. Like I said, if he does start, I think he's going to see limited minutes. I don't think he's going to go over 30 minutes. That's why I played the under 20 points, rebounds, and assists, just because I don't think this is a Russell series because of his limitations defensively.
Let's get
and one real quick thing about the Warriors, it kind of speaks about when you look at those Warriors team versus the Nuggets team. The Nuggets in game 1 were able to do stuff that made Ham take Russell off the court, that he was a non-factor.
Which I will say,
which the Warriors couldn't do.
No, and you're right, and that was a big. I don't like the fact that Malone, I almost bet the Lakers money line, because I didn't, and I wouldn't be shocked. And even if the Lakers go down 0-2, I'm still not all that worried, because the home away Lakers got to come back take care of home business, and then steal one game on the road at some point. But you could tell the Nuggets never talk. They're not the type of team that talks a lot of trash at all. They're like a very quiet team. They're bothered by how much the Lakers get talked about. And that's just a LeBron thing. It's a Lakers thing. I think it's kind of bothered Denver because they played Durant and Booker and Chris Paul, and everybody was talking about them. And now they're playing the Lakers, and more people kind of want to talk about the Lakers. Man, KCP was calling Jokic LeBron after the game. Mike Malone was calling out D'Angelo Russell. Like he said, yeah, I mean, D'Angelo Russell couldn't play. We made them take D'Angelo out of the game, which is correct. It's just sort of one of those weird things. Like, I don't know if you want to say anything. Like, you're probably the better team, win your games. I just don't know if you want to give the other guys any extra motivation. I wonder if LeBron watches a video of KCP talking with Jokic and saying, yeah, you're like LeBron. Well, does that LeBron look and go, oh, yeah, Jokic is great, but Jokic is LeBron? I don't know. I mean, D'Angelo, like you said, it may not be a fit for him. Mm-hmm. I'm playing more on the narrative, which is something we can kind of do in NBA more than we can in other sports. We'll know pretty early today. If the Lakers are down 15 early on and D'Angelo's getting taken out of the game, he's probably not going to get another big shift in this game. Like they can't afford to do that. So that'll be key. Let's see. What can we get, Erik?
And I mean, I'm looking at it right now.
16 points, 3 rebounds, or 16 points, 3 assists, 1 rebound. So we go under your points, rebounds, assist. We go over my 13.5, and we get my 3 threes home. There's a way we can hit it all. How's that sound?
That's a way we can get it. I'm looking at some transcripts right now. Malone said Austin Reeves made 2 threes late. I felt we did a great job on D'Angelo Russell. So great that he wasn't even in the game that much in the second half. And then another quote, in game 1, a guy that's played very well for them was not on the floor in the fourth quarter in D'Angelo Russell.
Is he trying to get inside his head?
Well, no, he just says, to me, that's an interesting storyline. Are they going to play him?
He's trying to stir the pot.
Are they not going to play them?
This is what I mean. He's stirring it. He's throwing some gasoline on the fire, which it's a smart thing to do. And it's not, right? Like, that's like a Phil Jackson thing, right? Like, that's sort of one of those things where you just kind of toss something out there, and this will be a big fact. This will be a big key to like how Darvin Ham handles something like this, right? He's a brand new coach. He hasn't had that many situations like this where you have a guy who, dude, D'Angelo saved you a few times. It's not as if the guy's been bad through a lot of this playoffs, but this particular fit might be bad for him. Maybe it's just in Denver, even on the road. Maybe he'll be a little bit better back home. But if you get down early again, it's going to be hard to feel confident about him. And he is really one of the big storylines in this game too.
And this is kind of like the same process that I had with some of these Clint Capella bets that we were doing earlier in these playoffs, him not being, in my eyes, a good fit on the court. So I'm going to bet his under props. And that's basically just my thought process with D'Lo here.
So we're on the same side on the next prop. I think if the Lakers do play into the adjustments that they made, where they have Rui either starting or quickly coming off the bench, and Rui playing more, because like Rui's not going to shut down Jokic, but what we've seen from Jokic where guys slow him down are bigger, thicker bodies, right? That is what hurts Jokic a little bit. You don't realize how big and thick he is, and a guy like Anthony Davis, Jokic just can overpower him a lot of the time because he has so much mass. Rui's a little different. Rui is bigger than you realize too. Like he's a solid 6'9", and he is thick. And what I like is that Phil Handy, who is a fantastic assistant coach, he's one of the best assistant coaches in the league, like a really good skills guy for the Lakers. He's worked a lot with Rui. And the one thing that you notice with Rui is he realizes how big he is now. He gets the ball and he goes down. He takes guys down in the block right away. He always uses his size on smaller guys. And I think that actually he just plays into his size a little bit. He's tougher. So Rui helps on Jokic. Who's open for the Nuggets? It's Gordon, right? It's the guy Gordon who AD's going to sort of help off and roam a little bit. That's going to leave Gordon open. I think Gordon's going to have to be aggressive here. I'm going over 15 or 13 and a half points, and you're going Gordon over 0.5 threes.
Yeah. This is my thought process, and I'm worried though. I'm worried about Gordon. And I mean, obviously, like my prop bet is over half of threes. I think it's obvious, like you said, the big adjustment. You have to move Gordon off the dunker spot, put him out on the wing. During the regular season, he went over this total 3 out of 4 times against the Lakers. And then obviously last game, he had 3 wide open looks and the ball just didn't go in. Looking at his splits at home, for the regular season, he is shooting 35% on threes. So law of averages, one of them has to go in if they are open looks. My one thing is this: we're talking about adjustments the Lakers can make. I really feel though that adjustment the Nuggets can make is if they go small and I'm looking at the plus minuses right now in NBA popcorn machine. Statistically speaking, the best lineup that the Nuggets rolled out was Joker, Porter at the 5, along with KCP, Murray, and Bruce Brown. Statistically speaking, that now to me, that's the counter I would have made. But the risk is this: how does that affect everything? How does it affect Aaron Gordon mentally if that's your best defender? And because what he can't do defensively, you have to cycle him off the game. Are you going to get that effort defensively that you'll need in key spots when he's forced out on the wing on an AD or LeBron? So, I mean, that's the tough thing about coaching. Like what buttons to press, knowing how guys are going to react and everything. I'll give Gordon credit. He's kind of accepted the role as the Joker's backup center. So that's why he's the first one to go off the bench, usually at the 5:50 mark. It's just a real interesting dynamic where it's adjustment I think needs to be made, but the whole psychology of it, I don't think will be made. I think Gordon will get some open looks. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Porter because Porter's been playing pretty well. Yeah.
He hit some big shots. One of my next plays, Erik, and I think you have 2 more after. I went Murray under 25 and a half. I think this number just crept a little too high now. Murray's not this big of a scorer. He's someone who's always been better in the playoffs, but he's a career 17 points a game guy. This year, he averaged 20 points a game. He hit 4 threes in this game. I think he hit 4 of his first 5 threes, so he was 4 of 5 to start. He still finished 4 of 8. Maybe he hits a couple. I mean, he hits a few threes all the time, but the reason why was because of the really, really bad defense. Really bad defense, too. And Erik, you're saying there's an ear infection that he's dealing with.
Yeah, he's got a really bad ear infection. Honestly, like from what I'm being told, the Nuggets players are healthy, but a couple of them are starting to come down with this same ear infection.
Oh, that's
that Murray has. So God only knows what we're going to see from him. I think there's obviously going to have to be adjustments.
The handoff was awful. He took 4 or 5 wide open threes on those handoffs. There was so much space, and that's where D'Angelo hurt them the most. He's got to be pushing through those screens.
So you can expect Ham to make an adjustment with that. Ham's been a pretty good coach in adjustments pregame and post game and before the next game. So I like that play. My next play is this. Like Reeves went 5 under the 24.5 points, rebound, and assists from Reeves. He went 5 of 8 from 3. I'm banking on some shot regression. Lakers were running a pick and roll with him and James that led to a couple of open looks. Obviously, another thing that I'm banking on is this. He played the most minutes per NBA popcorn machine. He played, what was it, 42.1 minutes.
It's going to be heavy legs in Denver.
Heavy legs with the altitude. And it's usually like the second day in there, you start to feel it. Is he really going to have the lift on his jump shot? And if your jump shot is short, it's obviously not going to be falling. Is he going to get those effort plays with the rebounds? The assist thing is interesting to me. One of the things that I always look at is NBA potential assists. He had 7 assists in the game. And, oh no, sorry. It was like he had 7 assists, but the NBA graded he only had 6 potential assists. It was really weird when I was looking at the NBA site this morning when I was doing my stuff. But I just kind of expect that there's going to be some adjustment to limit those Reeves open looks. And we're talking about rotational stuff. It wouldn't surprise me if it is a hit on Russell and Reeves's minutes. And we're talking about maybe starting Rory if they do start him and figure they need to keep Russell in the starting lineup. I think Reeves is going to be the one because of the attitude the kid has. Hey, you're coming off the bench this game. And I don't think
you don't lose Reeves.
Yeah. I don't think with his mindset, he's going to really,
you wouldn't lose
him. That. So, but I mean, basically the main cap on this one is, look, 42 minutes in altitude in a game with a fast pace. That was a very fast-paced game.
And both of those teams played at an insane pace, and now they're going to make it did feel like a real game one feeling each other out game, right? Like
this, and like, look, I'm just betting the trend here. I use Bet Labs. If you're a bettor and you don't use Bet Labs, you're really missing out because it's great at finding these trends and everything. Game 2 unders after game 1 went over is hitting at 70%. So I'm betting the trend here that's 70%, plus you mentioned the pace. I think these guys are going to be tired. Let's just kind of look at the Lakers minutes real quick. Reeves 42.1, LeBron 39.9. We got the AD at 41.8, and then you look at everyone from the Nuggets. Joker played 42.4. Everyone else was in the mid-30s. Murray, 37. Gordon, 36. Porter, 34.5. Pope, 36. And then the next highest one was Bruce Brown. But there's a lot of key guys that had over 40 minutes in AD and Russell. LeBron right there at 39.9. I don't know. I just think there's going to be a lot of tired legs. And we need to remember the Lakers – one of the best defenses in the league. I think this pace is going to be slower. You allow Lakers to get in that half-court defense. It's going to be a little bit harder for the Nuggets to get some points up. So I like the under 227. And I really feel right now, just looking at the big board of everything, I kind of feel whoever wins this game is going to be in the driver's seat to win a championship.
Yeah, I completely agree. This is a huge game. Again, if you're the Lakers and you're going home, can you come back? Yes, but you don't want to be in a situation where you have to win 4 out of 5 games like that. I will say this. I will say this. Like these lines, like these books are doing an absolute primo job of having these lines come out right away. I'm saying if the Lakers lose, we have to figure this is going to be a 2.5, 3, maybe 3.5 on the high end spread. Yep. You have to lock in the Lakers right away because that number is going to escalate. It's going to balloon. Yep. Okay, Erik, let's get to Thrive Fantasy, that website that we love. It's a DFS website where you can play in all sorts of contests. You can play like head-to-head matchups. You can play in contests against 50, 100 other people, or you can get in the prop lobby and you can play props. What's great is that when you bet these props, you get better value than if you were to bet them anywhere else. Prop parlays pay 3.2 times your entry on a 2-prop parlay, 5.2 times on a 3-prop parlay. So you will not get this same value, these same payouts anywhere else. When you sign up for Thrive Fantasy, make sure you deposit and make sure you use the promo code GINO. It'll get you a match deposit bonus from $25 all the way up to $250. Erik, here are my 2 for tonight. I parlayed them together. D'Angelo Russell over the 13.5 points. I went Jamal Murray under the 31.5 points and assist. That's a big number there. Jokic runs a lot of the offense as far as the assists are concerned. So Murray's probably going to need to get towards that 25-point total to get close to this number. Those are my two for tonight. Any plays for you on Thrive Fantasy?
Obviously I did the D-Lo under points, rebounds, and assists. Just
so we got the beer bet on that one straight up.
And then I did. Well, you could still hit yours, and I could still hit mine. That's the thing.
That's true. That's what's great. We could get in that middle.
My second part of mine is I went Michael Porter Jr. over 6.5 rebounds. Went over this total last game. Over 7 of 12 playoff games. Second on the team in potential rebounders. And I don't know. I just kind of feel like if Malone does make the adjustment and does for a little bit of the game play a little bit of smaller ball, and Porter is playing the power forward position, I think that kind of fits out pretty well for him to go over this 6.5. So I'll have my second piece be Porter over 6.5 rebounds.
There's a look at all the possible props you can play today, and you can connect. Remember to use that promo code GINO when you do. Erik, buddy, good luck to you in your plays today. We'll be back tomorrow to talk game 2 of Boston and Miami. Thanks so much, everyone, for hanging out with us. Remember to head to Thrive Fantasy. Use that promo code Gino. And if you're in the state of Iowa, DRF Sportsbook, use the promo code FAST1000 for your match deposit bonus.